Assemblymember Angelo Santabarbara, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, great to be on the show again, Dan.
Of course. So we're talking about something that is so important in upstate New York. It's cell coverage. And I know to people watching that might be like, oh, why do we care about that? I probably have service at my house in the city of Albany, or even maybe your rural community has service. But imagine driving up 87 to Lake George for the weekend and you get into a car wreck and then you can't call 911. So now we have this Upstate Cellular Coverage Task Force. It was established in 2019. It's just released a report in early October or late September about what can really be done about this. So let's start with, what is the status of cell coverage in upstate New York right now?
Well, part of the task force, one of the initiatives that they were tasked with doing is actually measuring that and finding out where we had coverage and where we didn't have coverage, because there was some dispute over where coverage is good and where it wasn't good and where it was non-existent. And part of it was actually measuring, going out and measuring with devices where service was available and where there wasn't any service. And cell companies will say, oh, you have service, we have the coverage areas, and we see these maps. But then you go out into those areas and you can't make a call. So part of what we needed to do here was figure that out. So what we saw is, there's a lot of, the blue areas on the report, a 71-page report. You see that there's a lot of areas, especially in upstate, that do not have coverage, more than 2,000 miles of roadway with zero coverage, not counting the actual rural communities where there's no cell service in those areas. As you said, can you imagine being in your home or living somewhere? Landlines are almost a thing of the past right now.
Yeah.
But not being able to make a call or having to travel to make a call, and if it's an emergency, how do you do that? That was part of what this task force was designed to address, to come up with solutions to overcome those obstacles.
And some of those landlines now need electricity. So if you lose your power and it's an emergency, there's not really much you can do there. So I guess my question is it just that we don't have the infrastructure in these areas without the cell service? Because I think most of us know we get cell coverage from towers. At least I think that's still how it works. So do we just not have that infrastructure in place to provide this coverage in a more universal way?
Well, there's a number of things. The towers are needed. You need the towers to get the service, no doubt about it. There are obstacles that were described in the report, some of them being regulatory. Just going through a process that takes anywhere from 6 months to 2 years for a single application, which seems outrageous for something we're trying to deploy quite quickly here. So part of the report addresses streamlining that process. A lot of it is duplicative. Multiple agencies reviewing the same exact thing. There's no need for that. And coming up with a way to streamline that process is important, but also access to the land. Having the property to do it. So the report talks about having access to state lands and right-of-ways. And then there's an environmental piece that goes into this. Those large towers that you just mentioned are an area of concern for environmental areas that are protected or have strict regulations of what can and cannot be developed. When you develop a cell tower, we see the tower, but there's a lot of site development that needs to happen, infrastructure around the tower itself.
Right. The report recommends putting cell coverage in certain areas. So we're not talking about universal cell coverage like in the rural areas of the Adirondack Park, for example. You want to put it on interstate and U.S. highways, New York State highways, and larger mainstream county roads. And that's going to cost, the report estimates, $610 million. Tell me where we get the money.
Well, the money obviously has to come from the state budget. The new New York broadband program was a program that we invested in. We put that incentive out there. Part of what we need to do is incentivize this development of this infrastructure. And I think leveraging the public-private partnership, that's done with making the investment. And I think that investment does have to be made. What you said is right. This report, I look at it as it's not a silver bullet where it's going to solve all our problems. There are a lot of rural areas that communities that don't have service. This report talks about that, but it says as an initial step here, let's make this investment to cover our major roadways where you can get on a roadway and make a call if you need to.
Yeah, in fact, when you look at broadband across the state as well, the FCC has done reports on this. There are areas of the state that have cell coverage but not broadband, And that became really, really important during the pandemic for people that either had their kids going to school, but they didn't have broadband. So now they're using their cell phone as a hotspot. So thank goodness they have that cell coverage.
And yeah, there's a mix out there of what's available, and that's part of what this report talked about too. Is if you have one, you should probably have the other. There's a way to merge this infrastructure. If we have some infrastructure out there that offers broadband, we can use that same infrastructure, sort of a shared service, to be able to provide both. Both are important, and I think that we need to look at this. Years ago, they ran electricity and telephone lines to every house. They needed to do that. We need to look at these services the same way that they were looked at back then. This is essential. We got to get it out there. This is not just playing games on the internet. This is education. This is telehealth. This is work at home. We have to change the conversation. This is really something that's a public utility. We need to look at it that way. And I think the new policies going forward need to treat it as such.
Well, we'll see what happens in the state budget. I imagine that it will probably have support because this is, as you said, pretty important nowadays. So we'll see how it shakes out.
It's a top issue for me, certainly in the rural areas I represent, and I think all of upstate is the most impact here. So I think upstate communities sort of have been overlooked in lacking these services. It's time to address them. And now, as we were talking about rebuilding back post-pandemic, we need to really look at how do we do that. We got to address the things that were highlighted and things that were overlooked in the past that need attention now. And I'm hopeful with our new governor. I have written a letter to her. I'm hopeful that this will get on her radar and it will get done in the next session, starting with the investment we need in the state budget.
All right, we'll look forward to seeing it. Assemblymember Angelo Santa Barbara, thank you so much.
Thank you. Great to be here.